Talking to Chris Mack earlier today at the shoot-arounds, echoing what he told Allison. He said this is a team that grinds out games. This is a team that really has enjoyed the chemistry that they've developed off of being so unheralded to start the season.
Well, they lost quality players from last year's club. When you think of the players they lost, they went out and they got some veteran players, fifth-year guys, to give them some maturity and some experience, and it's worked out really well.
And a turnover on the first possession of the game for the Noles. Dwayne Sutton in the post is fouled by Mann. And if you are just joining us, welcome to the Tucker Center here in Tallahassee. Bob Wischusen, Dick Vitale, Allison Williams, a ranked versus ranked matchup between Louisville and Florida State. And Dick, this is a game that could become a barometer game for both of these teams as it starts to become a clearer picture, the race for the ACC title.
Well, you got two clubs here in the top 25 in America. You got one that's very good at home and another club that has an incredible road record. Louisville's last 4 games on the road in the ACC, they have won by a margin of better than 21 points. That's unheard of in college basketball. 4 games in a row in the ACC by a better than 21-point margin is unreal. Chris Mack's done a fantastic job since stepping in. He's done a great job in a tough environment. He went out and got veteran players, fifth-year players, to give him maturity and experience.
Jordan Wara, though, missing that straightaway 3. He is only a sophomore, and he has been their offensive star. Here's Phil Kofer as he hands one off to MJ Walker, a little too strong as we played 90 seconds and neither team can ring the bell yet.
Well, that could be a real key for Florida State. If they make threes, their game goes way up. The last game against Syracuse, they blew them out. They shot 11 for 22. And 2 losses to Pittsburgh and Boston College. You ready for this? They went for 10 for 46. You and I could go 10 for 46.
I don't know.
I don't know either. You mentioned Warren, what an improved player. He's the second, if you look at statistics, most improved starter in America. He went from 5 points a game to his average of better than 17.
Shot clock down to 8 for the Cardinals. Dwayne Sutton will try an NBA 3 and gets Louisville off to the early lead.
You know, you talk about a kid that's tenacious, very tough mentally, and he's been playing outstanding basketball. They played a pack line defense, a little similar to Virginia, except they got a little more tempo to their game on the offensive end and want to run with the basketball.
Trent Forrest draws the foul on Kristen Cunningham. And Chris Mack, his first season at Louisville, what a great job he did, keeping the tradition of the toughness, hard-nosed program they had at Xavier alive after Sean Miller moved on. And he is deserving of this opportunity and doing a great job in his first year as Kofer tries a 3.
He really is. There's no question about it. Chris did a fantastic job with Xavier. He was a great hire.
Williams straight away. That won't go.
Williams, the guy, gives him some defense inside, protects the rim. They're right
Soft
there.
Off the window, no good for Trent Forrest. Kumaji with an offensive rebound and a reset for the Noles.
Williams walked to that shot.
Kumaji with a reverse. Just a little too strong.
Tell you one thing, he did a great job. Williamson stepping in the lineup, giving him a defensive presence in the middle. Enoch off the bench gives him a little bit more offense.
Acceleration by Quan 4.
He was a great pickup. Came from Richmond, veteran player, a tenacious defensive player. As good as it gets defensively. Always wants the challenge of playing the best players that they have on the perimeter of the teams they play.
Kofer in the pivot. 0 for 6 from the field to start for Florida State. Wara accelerates, goes at Kumaji. Lost it on the way up. No foul called. Back the other way. It's Terrence Mann.
He's a good athlete, man. Veteran player, can score. You don't remember this team went to the Elite Eight last year, Florida State. spreading the court, trying to get good spacing.
Man for three. In and out.
Could it be one of those nights that they had against Pittsburgh and they had against Boston College? Couldn't make any threes.
Sutton traveled. We have reached our first media timeout, and Florida State still with a goose egg on the board. Louisville off to the 5-0 lead here in Tallahassee. A top 25 matchup. Welcome back to the Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy. This is the ACC on ESPN. As we said, this could be a barometer game for both of these teams. How much could one win or loss mean? Well, this win at North Carolina for Louisville was a propulsion game for the Cardinals, because that took them on a 6-game conference win streak and took them from the preseason also-rans into the championship discussion. This Louisville team has high hopes now. Bob Shoes and Dick Vitale, Allison Williams. And Dick, this is a team that went from unranked to start the season, not really even thought of to be a championship contender, to now being in the mix. Yeah, well, they're 8-2 in conference play. 1 game behind the top leaders. When you think of Virginia, Duke, and North Carolina, they're 1 game behind. They got a big game with Duke coming up on Tuesday, but they want to close out and win their 5th in a row on the road here this afternoon. And Florida State wants to keep their 4-game winning streak going and want their 5th. It'd be the first time in about 6-7 years in the ACC that the Noles would win 5 games in a row in conference play. Shot clock down to 7 as the Noles are looking for their first basket, and they won't get it here as the flip comes up short. MJ Walker challenged at the rim. Right now, no rhythm at all when you look at Florida State on offense. They can't seem, they're not in sync. And that's because Louisville's playing great team defense early in this game. They get such experience in the backcourt with the 2 fifth-year graduate guys when you talk Ford and Cunningham. Spin move by Sutton, runs into his own man and turns it over. And Allison, this is a Louisville team that plays with a chip on their shoulder.
They do, Bob. They have an edge to them, and it goes back to the preseason rankings. They were picked to finish 11th in the ACC, and they felt slighted by that. They're on a mission to restore some pride to a program that's dealt with a lot of negativity and scandal the last few years. That preseason ranking, well, it continues to motivate them as far as they get their first bucket of the night. Jordan Wara told me everybody talks about this, stretch we're in, 4 games against top 25 teams, but they forget that we're one of those top 25 teams as well.
I'll tell you one thing, a big 3 right there got the crowd a little bit alive. It's real quiet here. Cunningham really handles the ball exceptionally well. He's up there in assists, leads the conference in total assists in terms of per game, 6.
Shot clock at 4. He gets a high screen, has to force up a deep 3, and connects. Kristen Cunningham stretches the Louisville lead.
I'll tell you, nothing like having experience, especially players that understand how to play. He and Four have a great feel and understand what the game is about. Chris Mack loves both of them.
Kofor for 3. That's an air ball. Kabengele picked up his dribble.
He has been a real surprise. Getting better and better. His stock is going up, up, and up. Kabengele has just been a terrific player off the bench.
Kofor with the shot clock winding down again. He's going to have to put it up from NBA range, off balance.
No rhythm. No rhythm. I'd say really no rhythm at all offensively.
Wara plus the foul if he gets it to go, but it rolls off the rim. So Jordan Wara will shoot 2.
What I like about Warren is his ability to attack off the bounce. His dad's a coach at Erie Community College.
And as you said, Dick, there is only one player in America, that's Ahmad Clark at Albany, that averages a greater increase in scoring from last year to this year than Jordan Wara. And speaking of some scoring, it might be hard to come by in our Sonic Blockbuster, a Saturday primetime matchup. Duke squaring off with Virginia. This time it's in Charlottesville. You can watch it live on the ESPN app. Coming up next over on ESPN, as Duke was able to outlast UVA. That game, of course, a few weeks ago in Durham. Now the return engagement in Charlottesville. See how Duke does on the road.
Should be really a great matchup. Home court usually big, whoever's in that game. But I'll tell you one thing, they're going to have a tough time if Jerome can't be Jerome. because he was injured. I don't know if he's playing today. Do you know anything?
We'll have to check and see.
He's a key player for Virginia.
Quan Four pulls up. He's got it.
Tell you what, these two guards really look like they're into this game big time. They're not thinking about Duke. You can see psychologically and emotionally. They're here. They want this W. See, right now they're going to get more ball movement and player movement. Florida State. Too much standing around.
Cabangeli with the left hand.
He's a big-time player. What a prospect. He's got a lot of versatility. Good, multi-talented. He's the nephew we've talked about in the past. And Dikembe Mutombo, one of the great human beings ever to play in the NBA. What he does to help people. The impact on so many lives, Dikembe.
Cunningham on the deck. And it looks like a foul is going to be called. And will that go against P.J. Savoy? It will not. And it's going to be against David Nichols, who picks up the foul. There's a lot of grad transfers in this game. Nichols, a grad transfer from Albany. He has made an impact for Florida State. And the starting backcourt for Louisville, Kristen Cunningham and Quan Four, both grad transfers.
Fifth-year players, a lot of maturity. I mean, you got a lot of 21, 22, 23-year-old guys play against a lot of impact young kids who are 17, 18. There's a difference.
Cunningham. Yes.
I'll tell you one thing. Louisville's bench is very jubilant. Look at them dancing with joy. They have come out and they have played right now in the first 7-8 minutes of this game exceptionally well as a team, defensively and offensively.
Cabangeli is fouled on the drive. They'll call that foul on the floor against Louisville. That's Stephen Enoch picking up his first.
Yeah, those veteran guards, man, nothing like having that maturity, that experience, as I talked about earlier. Those two guys bring the wealth of knowledge about basketball for, and certainly Cunningham. They want to go to Cabangeli, trying to get him one-on-one.
And he is fouled by Enoch, so he quickly picks up his second. So Stephen Enoch in early foul trouble, but Louisville has a 9-point lead here at Florida State.
Tallahassee, that look inside Leonard Hamilton's home, and you can see in his basement there he has an area set up for gaming and game watching for his players, but it's also where he goes to unplug and unwind. He can actually download and watch one of his over 500 concerts and performances he has saved. We know all about his first passion, that's basketball. Leonard Hamilton's other passion is music, specifically gospel music, and we're going to hear more from him throughout the night about just that. Bob?
Tell you one thing, right now he's not singing a big tune because his team is really struggling.
That's a good transition. You've done this before. Well, talking to Leonard earlier today at shoot-around, and Allison was in depth, as was our producer Kim Belton, about his love of gospel music and all of those great old R&B and soul shows that he has saved in his archives. And I mean, you want to talk about a guy that literally looked like he could talk about music forever.
He represents the school really well. When you think about last year, they were a number 9 seed and it went to the Elite 8. Came very close to going to the Final Four. Ryan McMahon on the floor right now. As we know, he's a shooter. Just as Virginia Tech when he hit 4 threes in 83 seconds. It was unbelievable. Allison was there to witness it.
They might need to unload to him here. Shot clock at 5. Malik Williams off the front rim.
One thing he's going to have to learn is how to move without the ball, because teams are going to start suffocating, getting in his face, and not letting him get the ball.
Terrence Mann forces the issue, and it pays off. He's got an and one opportunity.
Yeah, an old-fashioned 3 looks like it's coming up. I mean, drive to the basket, man, a veteran player. Here he is going to attack off the bounce, goes up strong in the lane, and gets the conversion, and now he's got to go to the free throw line.
Terrence Mann's mom, Dania, the head coach on the women's side at URI, talks to him after every game. And it's not the normal mom-son conversation about no matter what he did, he was great. She's a coach. I mean, she's breaking the film down. She's telling him, yeah, I don't like the way you ran that pick and roll in the second half. So he knows he's not only going to get an earful at times from Leonard Hamilton, but when he checks in at home, he might get an earful. And now a foul called as Florida State had the trap set up, and David Nichols reached in.
Florida State going to go a little double team, trying to speed up the tempo of the game a little bit, and also hoping that maybe that gives them a little offense as well to get them more in the mood. They look very passive early in the game. They like to pressure the basketball, Florida State.
McMahon with an offensive foul.
No question about it. As a legit call, used his off arm. That was a good call, quality call.
So Louisville now out of fouls to give, as Florida State could shoot some free throws here in the first half.
One thing Louisville does a great job, getting to the free throw line. They've made 408 free throws, and their opponents have only shot 426. So they really do a great job, and they make free throws. And so does Florida State. Florida State, a good team, shooting at that free throw line.
Nichols turns the corner, and he is fouled on the drive.
Notice early in the game here, Bob, Florida State is utilizing the drive going to the lane rather than just going to the stationary shooting the three. The one thing that's been negated, they haven't been able to get in transition. The defensive transition has been excellent by Louisville.
So David Nichols, the grad transfer from Albany, first team All-America East, as a sophomore, and also averaged about 15 points as a junior, and coming up tonight on ABC. Speaking of points, we're going to see some. Our NBA Saturday primetime game presented by HyperX Gaming. It's the Thunder and the Rockets. Our coverage tips with NBA Countdown at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. You can always watch on the ESPN app. And will James Harden ring the bell for 40 again? He might.
That's like automatic. I mean, that's no doubt what he does. It's incredible. He guy's a scoring machine.
McMahon gets Cabangeli caught on a switch. Couldn't shot fake him in the air. Instead, it's a wing jumper from Sutton that barely draws iron.
Not a good shot right there. Got to understand what is a good shot. That's a tough time for young kids.
Raekwon Gray hits a triple and ties the game.
Tell you one thing, one of the strengths when you look at Florida State is the bench. They're a deep basketball team, and I think it many times difficult to prepare for because you don't know what guy is going to really have a great night.
Wara, line drive, no good. Offensive rebound and a foul on the landing as Sutton had position inside. And Nichols ended up underneath him, and that's his third foul.
See, I think right there in the last couple of possessions, shooting the ball too quickly. You need a little more patience right now in offense.
Perry double teamed in the corner and is able to find Williams. Wara gets to the baseline. Fouled on the drop.
The one thing about Warren that I really like, Bob, he attacks with unbelievable aggressiveness. He goes there with authority. He's aggressive offensively.
That foul on Cabangeli is his first. Do you think Wara's a pro?
I think he's got potential, yeah. I think he's heading that way. I think another year in school, I think he's ready right now, but he's getting better and better. I don't think there's any doubt that he'll get certainly a shot in the pros, that's for sure.
And here is Sutton doing a good job to wall off Trent Forrest.
He made like a real whiteout. Go after that, baby. He looked like Edelman down there for the Patriots.
All right, can we just let the Patriots thing go?
I know you Jets. Eat your heart out.
Wara creates space. Hit the backboard first. Loose ball. And it's tracked down by Mann. Here comes Forrest. Cabangeli, the trailer. Got it.
Boy, he's big time. He's a big time prospect. Size, touch. He's got confidence. He's got a little swag to him. Oh, they like it.
Nine minutes to go in the first half. Florida State answering with a flourish. And Louisville wants to talk things over. We're back in 30 seconds after the Cabangeli triple.
Tell you one thing, that's going to be some matchup when you took Virginia and Duke. You got two of the best combination in America when you took certainly Zion and Barron. And then when you look at the Virginia team, execution and efficient. Hey, I read something today. They said #1 guy that they covered out of UCLA is Tony Bennett. You know what I said on Twitter? I got a better chance of being the sexiest man in Hollywood than him ever going to UCLA. That will not happen.
In and out from the corner for Raekwon Gray. I've always thought that you're quite handsome. I know I'm a jury of one where that's concerned.
Silence was golden right there by you. And he had no shot that Tony would go out to UCLA. Nothing wrong with UCLA, but you got to know his personality. His personality doesn't match the kind of lifestyle and the way of Beverly Hills and all the entertainment. That's not Tony Bennett.
First foul on M.J. Walker.
That might be Tony Bennett. I left my heart in San Francisco. That's not this Tony Bennett.
That wasn't Tony Bennett either.
No. Hey, let me tell you this. I sang Take Me Out to the Ball game at the Cubs game.
Yeah.
And what's his name sang it? Ditka one year, and they said he was bad. I made Ditka sound like Bocelli. That's how bad I was.
Shot clock down to 7 again. A wing jumper for Kristen Cunningham. What a find. The grad transfer from Sanford, not Stanford, Sanford, has been for Chris Mack, as he has not only become the #1 assist guy in ACC competition, but Cabangeli, the leading scorer off the bench for Florida State. These are two teams that have had some very unlikely heroes rise up their depth chart so far this season.
Well, Cunningham's been such a plus. Brings that leadership, that experience. Cabangeli's just a multi-talented player. Reason they don't start him, they're afraid of getting in foul trouble early.
Wara from the corner. A little too strong. Cabangeli with the rebound.
He's having a heck of a game here this afternoon coming off that bench, but he's been doing that all year. He's going to be right in the running for best 6 man in the ACC.
Forrest sets up Gray.
See, when the threes fall for them, they are a dangerous team. They proved that with Syracuse up there at the Dome. They go 11 for 22.
And now the pressure defense from M.J. Walker. Well, Louisville, they're going to need some offense. They may find it from Ryan McMahon. He was a find, courtesy of Dick Vitale for Louisville. He has a message for Dickie V.
Thank you for just putting me on the map and letting an undiscovered kid like me kind of get noticed. Without you, I wouldn't.
Been a real terror in the ACC at home. And Ryan McMahon, he's going to have to at some point knock down some threes for Louisville. Just as we were going to break, you heard the youngster from the Cardinals thanking Dick Vitale, Sarasota native. You, of course, live in Sarasota. He was a star at Cardinal Mooney, but just was under-recruited, would not have ended up at Louisville if not for your recommendation.
Well, he's got ability, and certainly Rick Pitino saw that ability. That guy's got ability. I'll tell you what, you know, Ryan McMahon's an example of a lot of kids I really believe playing who really get lost, unless people step forward for him, and he's been terrific. He had 24 points to beat Michigan State in a game for the Cardinals. He's had a game the other day, 17 with Virginia Tech. You know, everybody's on a little down with Virginia Tech right now. They're playing without a great player, Justin Robinson.
This is an 18-3 run that Cunningham tries to put an end to, and does with another 3.
He really squares his body exceptionally well to the basket for you young kids out there when he shoots. Has good balance.
Already in double figures with 11 here in the first half.
What about Cabangeli off the bench? He's been incredible.
Kofor, size advantage on Cunningham, gives it up. Cabangeli off the front rim. Wara's got the rebound.
During the last time out, Louisville's Chris Mack really emphasizing that defensively they have to do a better job of keeping Florida State out of the lane. They've been able to drive it on them and get into the bonus. Offensively, they want to start taking advantage of them switching on the ball screens and want to make sure they're driving, especially on Raekwon Gary like we're seeing here.
Well, it's a great call. They just did. Got the ball screen switch as Kristen Cunningham had the mismatch on Cabangeli, and he dribbled into the rim.
Yeah, he beat him right to the basket. Did an excellent job. Took that ball right down the lane. And he's right, Chris Mack. They were attacking down that lane rather than shooting jumpers like he just took right there.
Kabengele, I think, touched the basketball as it went out.
Talk about touching the basketball. They had that game won against Duke, but the refs made the right call. The ball definitely came off a Florida State player. Ball went over to Duke. They set up a play, and Reddish, bang, with the big shot.
For a double team.
So well coached right now when you look at this Louisville team. You can tell that when you look at the spacing, you look at the way they communicate to each other, move the basketball.
Cunningham again. That's in and out. He had scored the last 10 straight for Louisville. He has been single-handedly keeping the Cardinals in this game, and he taps it to himself. Off to the races with 4. Lobs it, and 4 is able to finish.
Terrific look right there by Cunningham. Get those 2 veteran guards in the backcourt showing that winner's mentality, that experience.
E.J. Savoy. That's too strong. Nice tap by Mann to keep it alive. And it's a fresh 30 for the Noles.
You know, Leonard Hamilton told us, and Leonard, who's been a solid tactician here at Florida State, they were finally getting healthy. You know, they were without Kofor, and then they had all kinds of little injuries to various players. Nice change of speed.
Forrest couldn't finish at the rim, though. Here comes Quan Ford. Out on the wing to Cunningham. Oh, the 2-point guards, great chemistry. Enoch, offensive rebound, and he tries again and succeeds.
Enoch's a transfer from out of University of Connecticut, didn't get a whole lot of playing time. He's a good offensive player. Great second effort there. Chris Mack's applauding. Great second effort to stay tenacious on that play.
He was a little too tenacious. Crowd thought he used the elbow. So did Leonard Hamilton. And now traveling called on Phil Kofor.
Got a little swings here. Game is rotating. Swing here, swing there.
Leonard Hamilton doesn't like that last swing, as his team is now down by 3.
Tom Brady, greatest of all time,
you know,
no doubt.
Not only are they killing me, I was all set to pump up the book, and now we got to talk Patriots again?
Well, hey,
I may not pump the book right now.
Well, you got to pump the book. If you're going to raise money for kids battling cancer. The book right now, my
Dick
mom,
Vitale's Mount Rushmores of college basketball. Tell folks about it, how they can get it, and most importantly, where the money goes.
Well, the bottom line is all the dollars are going for kids battling cancer. Every dollar I would make. And I will tell you this, the book features the 4 best in all kinds of categories. Best coaches, best players, the best dunkers. The best dunkers, Dr. Darrell Griffin, man, is one of my 4 great dunkers, along with Dominique Wilkins, Jerome Lane, Clyde Drexler. And we get the 4 best coaches, 4 best players. And the book's available at dickvitaleonline.com. Go there, you can get an autographed copy, and every dollar goes, like I said, for kids battling cancer. I was with Bobby V's show yesterday, Bobby Valvano, who does a great job. And we talked about Louisville. He just does a lot of the Louisville games. And, you know, he loves what's happening here with this team.
Walker off the curl. That hit the backboard first. Cunningham has the rebound. Well, Louisville started with a punch, took a counter punch, and they have now answered as they led 12-3 to start the game, and this is a 9-0 run for Louisville, but a lazy pass by Cunningham, picked off by Forrest.
That's a big time athletic move right there. Live turnovers, that's been a concern before the game. I talked during a week with Chris Batley. He said that's his #1 concern. Turning the ball over, the live turnover, and Forrest made him pay.
And that's a rare mistake by Kristen Cunningham. Talking to our old friend at ESPN, now back in the coaching game, Dino Gaudio, who's over on the Chris Mack bench. He was his coach at Xavier, and those two have now gotten back together. He said that he went over about 50 possessions on film with Kristen Cunningham, and he made every right decision. Here he is from the corner, just a little too strong. Laura is able to save it. Tip to Cunningham. Juan 4 with a floater, short. Offensive rebound. Enoch puts it up and in, plus the foul.
Tell you what, Enoch giving him good presence. He's in that size inside, good on the offensive glass. Here's a little trend of Florida State. In the last 4 games that they've won, they shot 46%. As you watch Enoch right there convert 46% shooting a three. Today, they are now struggling, shooting 27%. A big difference. The three ball really changes the whole complexion of a team's offensive success.
Yeah, Florida State's last 4 games, winning home against Clemson, at Miami, home Georgia Tech, at Syracuse. And the only one of those 3 wins that wasn't by double digits was at Miami. So these are 2 pretty hot teams. As, of course, Louisville, they lost last Saturday to North Carolina, but they have won 7 of their last 8 outside of that loss.
Well, North Carolina put a little chip on his shoulder after getting beat by 21 at home.
Good challenge
by Louisville.
At the rim by Enoch. Picks up the foul rather than give up the dunk to Chris Kumaji. That is the 3rd foul, though, on Enoch.
You know, Bob, there's something about players when they play with passion and you play with emotion. When you play with emotion and passion, you're shocked how good a player can be, how a 4-star player can become a 5. And the 5, if he's passive, he becomes a 4, and that's how upsets happen. And so many kids don't understand it. I think today, for example, you got North Carolina home at Miami. Miami plays like you can't believe. End up losing a heartbreaker because of a 3 at the end by May, who knocks down the 3. Miami doesn't foul. It goes to overtime. They up by 3. North Carolina fouls, and they win the game. So again, it's just a matter of emotion and passion. And I really believe that plays a part in a player in terms of how he performs.
And a team.
And a team, no question. They're going to set some screens and get some looks for Ryan McMahon.
Wara to the rim.
That's a big-time play. Great execution. You mentioned Dino Gordon. I'm going to say this. Dino got a raw deal at Wake Forest. There's no doubt in my mind that he got a raw deal, did a solid job. He should be a head coach somewhere. And I hope someone realizes that and gives him that opportunity.
A timeout called by Florida State as they have gone cold from the field. Wara with only a couple of baskets so far, but that one was a momentum changer.
Well, great cut without the ball. Good angle. Great execution. Too many guys don't move without the ball. That's a lost art. You want to know it's a lost art in the game of basketball? Move it without the ball, Bob, and block it out. Block it out is something you don't see. You just don't see people. They all want to go to the rim and rebound.
Well, talking to Chris Mack earlier today about Jordan Wara, and I asked him, so you obviously went back and watched the games from last year on tape. What did you see in this freshman, now turned sophomore, that led you to believe he was going to go from scoring 6 points a game to scoring 18 points a game? And he said all you had to do was watch 3 or 4 games from last season and see that he didn't play much defense at all. We wanted him to find his defensive game so that way he would earn the playing time to find his offensive game. Obviously, he has fed one off the other, and he is getting massive minutes, over 31 minutes a game, because he's defending.
Well, that's the key, playing time. So many players, if you only get a 2-3 minute spurts, you don't get a chance to stay on the floor.
Kumaji couldn't put home the miss. It is saved right to Walker. He's challenged by Williams. Back the other way comes Louisville.
And that's what Williams does well.
McMahon, the extra pass to the corner. Wara will drive it, float one over Kumaji. Chris Kumaji has the rebound.
So far, they've done a great job for him to stay keeping McMahon away from getting any looks, any shots. And that's the area he's going to have to work on, getting free for the ball.
One for their last 11 from the field, Florida State. Foul called on the floor against Louisville after Kumaji got the offensive rebound.
Chris Mack wasn't happy with that call. He thought Kumaji climbed the back, and there was no call.
Malik Williams is called for the foul.
There's a look right there, Chris. 9 years, did a great job at Xavier.
And we look right there at the tallest athlete in the history of Florida State sports. Not just basketball. Want to know how tall? Allison?
Tell you what, guys, don't try to high-five him. Because if you do, you're not going to be able to reach him. I gave him my all. Not that I have a lot to give. I don't have a whole lot of ups, but it yields.
Oh, wow. Come on,
yeah,
Allison. Give me
it's
some
not even
hugs.
close. I had to try, though.
He actually had to go waist high to high-five you the second time around. That's amazing. Terrence Mann It was called for the foul, and Chris Kamaji right there with Riley Sorn and Taco Fall at UCF as the tallest players in college basketball, and he is the tallest player in the history of Florida State athletics.
I will never forget a quote or an interview I saw years and years ago. Coach Woody, who was in a Westwood, the best of the best. Somebody asked him, well, you know, Llewellyn Sidney's great, but look at that great size. He said, oh, really? He said, there's like 107-footers playing right now college basketball. Name me 5. And the guy couldn't name any. I mean, it's not just size. You got to be able to be skilled, be able to work on different parts of your game to make yourself a player. And that's what a lot of the great big guys have done.
Especially now in the NBA. You got guys like Kevin Durant at over 6'10", stepping back and hitting threes. It really has become a positionless game.
Yeah, no question. You got all those guys stepping out.
Down to the last 13 seconds of the first half, so the Noles will hold for the final shot of the half. MJ Walker gives it up. Kofor, 4 seconds. Kofor has it knocked away. And that should end the half with Louisville on top by 6.
Terrific defense by Louisville. Think about this. 3 of the last 6 games that held teams 55 and less. Right here, you go in at halftime, only give up on the road 25. You got to be pleased with that if you're Coach Mack.
Well, the head coach of Louisville is standing by with Allison.
Coach Mack, you told us before the game you had to be strong with the ball. How do you think your guys have handled what Florida State's been doing defensively?
Touch and go, sometimes pretty well. You know, that third 4-minute period, about the 12 to 8, a little shaky, but I thought we responded, picked it up the last 8 minutes.
What will be your biggest point of emphasis to them at the half?
I think just that, being able to be strong with the ball, take care of it. They're such a good, live ball turnover team, and we just got to be strong with the ball.
Chris, thank
My
you.
good friend Allison right here.
Best time interview ever.
So you get a little quality time between Allison and Chris Mack.
Oh, wow. Chris Mack with a little love there. Shout out.
We're going to go back to the studio for the halftime report. Guys, we're not nearly as happy with Chris Dallin and Chris Patola. Guys, welcome back to the Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy. Just about set for the start of the second half. Louisville and Florida State. The Noles fans fired up in the student section, but it has been Louisville. And unlikely team chemistry from some grad transfers, Dick, in the backcourt.
Wait, take a look at the veterans right here. When you talk about Ford and Cunningham. Cunningham is aware right now where his buddy Ford's going to take the angle to the basket. We're going to watch him right here. And there's the, see, spacing, excellent spacing. You want to be 15 to 17 feet apart. There's the 2 Cardinal players. They got him on the ropes right now. He's going to commit to them, and he's going to find the open guy right there. Veteran players, and sir, Cunningham and Ford understand how to play. Now here's another look at a player who's having a great year. He's in his 2nd year, one of the most improved players in America. Look at this now. Now watch War up on top. And you're going to see Kamachi is going to come up. As soon as he spots him step up and release and leave the lane open, he cuts without the ball, Jam City, and gets 2. Excellent play by Sura. Unbelievable by Wara. Does a great job. I'm thinking Sura. I'm thinking when he played here at Florida State.
Well, one Florida State Seminole that's caught your eye, though, is Fiondu Cavangeli.
Yeah, Cavangeli's been a solid player. I mean, he does it really well coming off the bench, and he does an excellent job, gets the open shot. He's really a player that's getting better and better. He comes off the bench with some swag. Can't hide him. A lot of people like him. They love this kid's potential.
That's Dick Vitale. I'm Bob Wischusen. Allison Williams will join us in just a moment. Again, just about set for the start of the second half of a game that could be a momentum-swinging game for both teams, as it was a game of runs in the first half. Louisville with a 12-3 run to start the game. The Noles responded with a 12-0 run to take a lead. Louisville ended the half on a 14-2 run. Florida State, it's been a roller coaster offensively.
Yeah, really. Well, shooting the three has been a nightmare for them here in the first half. I mean, they really struggled when you look at a 3 for 13. On the other side, so has Louisville, 4 for 14. It was ugly. Let's face it. Some of the basketball was ugly, but the bottom line, not that ugly defensively, especially. Chris Mack's got to be pleased. Only giving up 25 points, Allison, defensively. Incredible.
Hey there, Dick. Well, you know, Coach Hamilton was really concerned coming into this game about the sets Louisville would run offensively. He said that's not what hurt us, though, in the first half. It's them going behind screens and making jump shots. As far as how they'll play those ball screens, he said we're most effective when we switch 1 through 5, but with Chris Kamaji out there, they're not able to do that. And then, guys, offensively, he said Missed some shots we usually make, especially at the rim. We have to finish, and we have to be more physical in the second half.
Well, they were 1 for their last 12 from the field to close out the first half. That's why the Noles were down by 6. Shot clock down to 10 for Louisville. Malik Williams gives it up. Kristen Cunningham goes to work. Shot clock at 5.
Forced the switch right there.
Gives it up to Sutton. And Dwayne Sutton knocks one down.
You know, Cunningham really understands where to get the ball. Right now, Sutton has been on a run. The last 6 games, he's played exceptionally well.
A foul out on the perimeter on Quan 4. And you wonder where this chemistry comes from. And it will develop and continue to develop as the season goes on. But Kristen Cunningham and Quan 4, both grad transfers. They had never played together before. Malik Williams averaged 4 points a game. He's only a sophomore. That last year as a freshman. Dwayne Sutton, he started his career at UNC Asheville. And Jordan Wara was a 6-point-per-game scorer last season as a freshman as well. So you didn't return a starter that averaged more than 6 points a game as Forrest lays one in. And at the same time, you get a couple of grad transfers out there, and yet this group for Louisville looks like they've played a lot of basketball together.
But really, you got to credit that. You see where it comes from? Leadership. It comes from coaching. The ability to get players to buy into your system. They don't have McDonald's All-Americans right now, but they got very good players. Let's face it, Warren, Malik Williams, and the players they have are really very talented players, and so is Sutton. And they blended them. I think where Chris Mack does a great job, studies the strengths, weaknesses of his personnel, and then blends them in to the system he wants to execute.
Not sure if the officials have a clock issue. Chris Mack is wondering the same. Chris Mack only has 1 McDonald's All-American on this roster. It's the holdover VJ King, but he's the 9th man in a 9-man rotation. So by far the highest recruited player of anyone on Chris Mack's roster. Plays the least number of minutes. This is a group that's got a chip on their shoulder collectively.
Well, you got to play. You got to produce and practice to earn playing time. Let's not forget the guy that was there before Mr. Mack was a pretty good coach. I mean, Rick Pitino, say what you want. In the gym, they don't come any better. And I've said this, and I'll say it again, as you look right here at preseason polls. You know, preseason polls are one thing. You can use it as motivation. Number 11. But, you know, basically up on top, people are pretty accurate in the media. Those 3 are pretty good, and they're still pretty good. But getting back to Rick Pitino, it has never been documented, proven, if you had all those trials going on, that he was part of anything illegal that he's done. But rumors, oh, he should know. His biggest mistake, the 2 assistants he hired, that really was backfiring versus all the great assistants he's had over the years. I hope he gets another opportunity somewhere because he's made some mistakes. He'll be the first to say it. But you know, we live in a country, you give people second opportunities. And I know one thing, if he gets that second opportunity, it is going to be win, win, and win.
That foul on M.J. Walker is his second, and the first foul on Florida State here in the second half.
The whole tempo really is the way Louisville wants it. Florida State cannot get any rhythm right now in this game, any kind of tempo that they would like. See, that's what they want, the live ball turnover. That is what they want.
Lays it in.
That is their game. They force you, turnover. If you can't handle that pressure, you're in a whole lot of trouble. And if they combine that, Bob, with making threes, then they go to another level. And that's what they've done the last 4 games in their winning streak. Shooting 47% from the 3 in addition to their defense.
Forrest called for a reach-in, though.
Boy, you man, there's that denial. Man, you be grounded like that. You be watching right now. You'd love that. Deny, go to the basket, cuts off the. What a nice play he made right there to cut off the defensive player. I had a lot of fun working with UB. We did that game together. Dan Schulman.
A couple of years of basketball experience in that booth.
Well, we had 164 years between us. A little violation. Chris Mack not happy here with their institution. We actually grew up 18 miles away from each other. Unbelievable. And that was the first time we ever worked together.
Louisville now with 11 turnovers, 4 for Florida State. Tough shot. Walker comes up short, and it looks like a foul will be called on Malik Williams as he was battling with Cabangeli. ESPN and the ACC will bring you the ACC Network in August. 15 universities, one network. Visit getaccn.com to learn more. Cabangeli does it again. And now Florida State down by only 2.
Florida State coming back here with some purpose. Cabangeli, man, he can score. He just has a nose for knowing how to score.
So does Wara, and he works his way to the free throw line.
He got fouled. Hey, let me tell you this. Things are in great shape for Louisville in the future. What a recruiting class they have. Our guy, Paul Biancardi, they're like top 5 in the nation. Kid Samuel Williamson from Texas going to be a heck of a player. A big man, David Johnson, Jalen Winters from Ohio. Things are looking up. This was kind of the bridge year, getting through this year. He's gotten through it in a very positive manner. But Louisville's not going to lose a step. Credit the AD, Pyra, for a great hire. He brought in Chris Mack. It was a perfect guy to replace Rick Pitino. Place is quiet. It was so alive when we were here for the Duke game. I mean, you can hear yourself. This place was exploding.
And Mann tries to explode to the rim, and he draws the foul on Wara.
That's the one that Leonard does a great job, keeping his players content and happy. They understand they're not going to play 35 minutes a game. He's going to utilize the bench. He's going to have depth. He just lost, by the way, it's going to be announced Monday, but I released it the other day. Great recruit. Anthony Edwards, considered by many to be one of the top 2-3 players in the nation from out of Georgia, will announce Monday he's going to stay home and go to the University of Georgia. And that's a terrific get for Tom Crean, who, by the way, you know, he'll take his hits now, just like he did when he went to Indiana. And he immediately, he's won 2 Big Ten titles with Indiana. He did the same at Marquette, and he will succeed at Georgia. If he keeps players from that state to stay home, watch out.
Foul on Williams, away from the ball once again. So now Malik Williams has 3. So that puts Malik Williams on the bench and brings Enoch back in. Now Enoch also has 3 fouls. So you've got the 2 pivot guys for Louisville in a little bit of foul trouble.
Well, he rotates both guys, so you get basically 10 fouls to play with those 2 in the post position.
Well, they've used up 6.
Yep.
Walker is fouled.
See, they're trying to get in a lane. They're trying to drive that lane. Allison did a little feature earlier, talked about how Chris Mack wasn't happy with their defense getting them into the lane. And I'm telling you, that is one of their goals, to try and get into that lane.
Juan Ford called for his second. Louisville already with 5 team fouls, and we have yet to play 3.5 minutes here in the second half.
Foul line could be big, and remember this, Florida State shoots really well on that foul line.
Tough shot for Walker. Off balance, and he hits a long 2.
He was off balance, but he's got scoring ability. He really does. Now here comes some pressure.
He was a McDonald's All-American in 2017. And now the crowd trying to get back in it.
I was just hoping when I coach to get a Wendy's All-American. I mean, McDonald's, all these McDonald's. Speaking about that, Kentucky, what a roll they're on. They got a few McDonald's All-Americans.
My face is on the wall of several fast food chain restaurants. 4, pull up, no good. Way up in the air for the rebound goes Cabangeli.
Cabangeli showing he can rebound, showing he can score.
He's going to try a triple. Way off the mark. Here comes Wara the other way. Weaving his way through traffic. Off balance and finishes.
They call that the Euro step right there. It could be called the walking step. It's the Euro step. Some of these guys use that Euro step, and I don't know about it. It looks to me a lot of little walking going on,
well,
baby.
Speaking of little, shorts apparently are shorts again. Wasn't that way for a long time. Here's an evolution, a fashion wave that's returning in college basketball. Let's go back to the days of Kareem. UCLA in the 60s. That's Kareem. All right, well, that was when shorts were shorts. There's Magic at Michigan State when they wore the hip huggers. And then, as the years went on, there's Allen Iverson. And really, it was the Fab Five in Michigan that had a cultural change in how basketball gear was worn. They wore the long shorts. But are we going back now to the days where shorts are short? There's Phil Kofer on the left and the right.
Well, let me just say this. The four guys you showed, you're looking at Alcindor, Magic, Iverson, Weber. They can wear anything they want. When they're as good as that, man, they can come in there with their Hanes underwear. I don't care what they wear. That's how good they were. Are you kidding me? They tell you, Coach, I want to wear this today. You say, okay. It must be nice to coach guys like that.
Oh, you didn't?
Oh, I coached some good players.
You did?
Very good players. I mean, coaching Alcindor or Magic, there aren't too many to coach those kind of guys.
Terrence Mann gives it up. Shot clock down to 10. C.J. Walker
Screen.
pulls up for three. That's good. We are tied up.
Walker used that screen really well. Kevin Jelly set a screen up for him, released. They didn't get over the top. Bam. These are two teams that can be very dangerous teams come March Madness. Teams that when you look at the pairings, you can say, I don't think I want to be dealing with these guys.
Sutton the trailer. Yes, the answer from Dwayne Sutton, who's been in double figures 3 games in a row for Louisville.
I like Sutton. He's one of those guys, just a winner, man. Plays really hard. He's tenacious, tough mentally. There's a screen right there. Kevin Jelly's going to step back, roll in after the screen.
Man, off the bounce. And he draws the foul, so he will shoot 2 when we come back with Louisville on top by 3.
Hey, wow, Dave Cowens, that was one of my favorite players of all time. You talk about hustle. Hey, David, you are special, my man.
The Queen of Gospel, Albertina Walker, the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, some of the great influential singers of gospel. And Florida State head coach Leonard Hamilton knows and appreciates this music probably more than most. It's his other passion, specifically gospel music. He actually owns a gospel music production company, and music's been a part of his life from the very beginning, going back to his roots in North Carolina, where he was never far from the scripture and the songs of the church.
I never lived more than 50 yards from the church. I actually competed organ playing from my bedroom. And sometimes I could sing with the person that was leading the song if I had not gotten to church on time. And every time the doors opened in the church, it seemed like we were there. Our whole life centered around Bible school, BTU, Vacation Bible School, the Ursula Board, the junior choir.
He was loving talking to us about that earlier today at shoot-around, as well as basically he said the family's entire Sunday was one singing engagement after another to the church and other functions and back to the church to wrap the day.
Tell one thing, I wish people would have heard him speak at my gala when he was being one of our honored guests with Jim Harbaugh and company. He was so emotional about his life, his mom, his dad, all the people that he lost in the battle against cancer, and he did a terrific job. The guy's got a heart of gold. He's a tremendous humanitarian, just a solid, good person.
Trent Forrest called for his second personal foul. And Louisville out of fouls to give, and now Florida State up to 4 team fouls. We've only played a little less than 6 minutes of the second half.
Right, talking about what a humanitarian. You can see that scowl. There's so much more to that man. Players love him. Everybody gets to know him. To know him is to love him. This guy's going to get free for some shots, but man, hasn't taken a shot yet, but he's only played 5 minutes.
Well, shot clock down to 7 here. Cunningham, 5 to shoot. Looks up, sees it. Gives it up to Wara. He's going to have to force one up. Beats the timer and comes up short.
For him, that's a good shot right there. Even though he's just trying. There goes the drive to the basket.
Accelerates. He's fouled on the floor, but that will put Louisville over the limit. And that will put Trent Forrest at the line.
My feeling is this game may come down to that charity stripe. It really may. Boy, the ACC up on top. People today, you see Duke and Virginia. Incredible matchup. Two brilliant coaches with records that are just incredible. And I'll tell you what, there'll be a lot of electricity down there in Charlottesville. What a beautiful campus that is, too.
Trent Forrest scored over 3,100 points in his high school career, but he can't hit the front end of the 1-and-1 there. That's a 77% free throw shooter, missing a chance to tie the game. Kristen Cunningham, tough shot. Tapped right back to him. Gives it up to Wara for three. The putback by Enoch.
There's Enoch working the offensive glass. That's what Louisville does really well. They got on the offensive boards. Got a nice contingent of fans right behind the bench. Technical foul.
And a technical foul was called after the basket made by Enoch.
I think Enoch said something. After the score. Watch this. He scores, and I think he turned and said something. Oh, yeah.
A little too much wolf into Cabangeli as far as the officials are concerned.
Yeah, they're not going to allow that this year. They're going to try and clean up. They want sportsmanship on the court.
And that technical foul is Enoch's fourth. So that's going to put him back on the bench. And for the first time today, Akoya Gal will come off the bench because not only does Enoch now have four, Malik Williams has three. And it looks like Coach Mack is not ready to bring Williams back in the game. So they're going to try and milk a couple of minutes out of Akoya Gal with now his big guys in foul trouble.
As we just saw Cabangeli at the free throw line, and what a story, you know, his family able to get out of Congo because of his uncle, Dikembe Mutombo. And in high school, not recruited, he was only 6'2", and then he got to be 6'6" when he went to do his prep year at Bosco Institute, and eventually to 6'10". I mean, he had just one offer out of high school to Binghamton, and Florida State was his first major offer. You can see why it means so much for him to be playing here.
Well, and a growth spurt that certainly put him now on Florida State and everyone else's radar. Boston College tried to come in late, but he had already committed to Florida State, stayed with that commitment, and Mfiondu Kabengele is starting to look like a player with an NBA future.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. This kid's going to get better and better. He's got strength, size. I think he'd be a first-round player. You know, getting back to Enoch, you got to know better as a player. You got 3 fouls, you get a technical, you got your teammate, the starter's got 3 fouls, so you end up hurting your team. Why? You don't have to do that. I'm sure Chris Max would have talked to him about that.
Here's Kabengele in the post. Goes right at Agal. Can't score it. Kofor keeps it alive.
Kofor's been very quiet.
Kabengele, air ball.
He's a little more patient. If he has one thing that he hasn't really learned, patience. You got to have patience and poise on offense.
Kofor caught on a switch with Kristen Cunningham. And Cunningham, they want to take him off the dribble. McMahon sets a screen. And a foul will be called on Kofor as he tried to muscle his way through McMahon. That's the third on Kofor.
One thing is you don't want to put McMahon on the free throw line. He's automatic. He's made like 17 in a row. He's only missed 3 all year.
He's 51 of 54 this season.
He's on 97 threes he's made in his career. 3 more, he gets to the 100 mark. This is a kid that does not have not one legitimate Division I scholarship. So you kids out there that are trying to make an impression, don't give up. Don't believe in camp. Just chase your dreams. Some good defense being played right here by Florida State. Got a little switch up on top.
Out on Cunningham, who picks up his dribble. McMahon allows the flyby, gives it up to Cunningham. Extra pass to Sutton, way short.
McMahon is so unselfish. He had an open look right there, and made the extra pass.
Over to Kabengele. The extra pass to Nichols. Fumbles it, tries a 3. That's an air ball. And a chance for a run out for Louisville. Wayne Sutton. The trailer is McMahon. He hits a three.
You got to get him shots. You got to get him shots. I mean, to me, he's one of the premier shooters, and he doesn't get enough opportunities. And that's really almost himself getting free. Players got to look for him a little bit more, too, though, because he can make shots.
The 98th career three in a Louisville uniform for Ryan McMahon. It's a 4-point lead for Louisville.
Nothing like the three. Oh, he got pumped right there.
Savoy lowered his shoulder and commits the offensive foul. And that takes us to the under 12 timeout.
No doubt about that.
Louisville with a 4-point lead, trying to become only the second team this season to beat Florida State here at the Tucker Center. The only other team that did it, Cam Reddish hit a buzzer-beating three for Duke, and McMahon, that triple makes it a 4-point game. It will be a Sonic blockbuster, and that is one we are looking forward to. We're also looking forward to May 10th because the Dick Vitale Gala once again will be taking place. And Dickie V, this is something that you put on Twitter yesterday, but certainly if there are folks out there that want to contribute to the V Foundation and your gala, all of the money goes to fighting childhood cancer, and you're going to be making a $200,000 donation as part of your gala to fight osteosarcoma in the name of Tyler Trent, who became the inspirational figure at Purdue.
Yeah, really, Tyler Trent was as special as can be. Our guy, when you think about Scott Van Pelt, did a great testimonial to him. So did Tom Rinaldi, and just inspired so many. So in his memory at my gala this year, we're going to give a $200,000 grant to battle the disease that took his life. Beautiful guy. And if anybody wants to donate to get us to our goal this year, it's $4 million for kids. You can donate at dickvitaleonline.com. Donate any amount you can, because it's something. You look at Louisville, I see Stan Becker, who I spoke to before the game, Andy Kettler. Andy Kettler's their strength coach. He lost his son Jackson, 2 years old, and I could see, there he is right there, I could see how emotional he got when he and I were speaking. As my guest here, who you met last night, my guest at the game is Patrick Wright. He lost his daughter, Peyton, to brain cancer. I had the two of them talk to each other, and they had so much in common. And you could just feel, as my wife and I walked away from them, the pain and the hurt of a dad losing their child. We're trying to eliminate that, and Tyler was doing a great job promoting the need for dollars. Greg Doyle wrote great articles out in Indianapolis, so please help us, because we may help someone you love. That disease is vicious. By the way, McMahon another three.
And Nichols missed. So Louisville with a chance to extend a 7-point lead midway through the second half. McMahon quiet up until this last sequence where he's hit back-to-back triples.
It's only 2 shots he's taken.
And now they're trying to free him up for another. And he's got another.
Why not? Why not? Why not get him free? They saw it down at Virginia Tech. To me, I know one thing, baby. If even I was coaching that guy, he's getting 12 to 15 shots a game. I saw him for the time that got me excited against a great player, Blakeney, who played at LSU, is playing now with the Bulls, and he was terrific in that game. That made me say, that kid can play Division I.
Kabengele can't work his way around a Gal. It's a turnover for Florida State and a 10-point lead for Louisville.
You know, Matt, there's no substitute for guys that can make shots. You talk about all the athleticism, all the jump and the quickness, but making shots is got to be something that's vital, and this kid can make shots.
Well, conversely, Florida State, during their 4-game win streak, 42% from 3, 48% from the field. Today so far, they're shooting 33% and 5 of 20 from 3, but a live ball turnover gives them an offensive opportunity that Forrest can't convert.
Well, Ryan McMahon did a great job getting in front of him after turning the ball over.
Cunningham blocked by Kabengele.
You know, when they see the Duke game with Virginia, there's a guy for Duke. You have to worry about him shooting the ball from the deep, because he can make things happen because of that bounce off the floor. His name, he's known by the first name already, Zion. Can Virginia contain him? We're going to find out. They didn't contain him the first time. The first time he and Barrett found a way to get Duke that win, and they played without Trey Jones in that game.
They're going to have to add some time to the clock here as the clock continued to run. after Louisville banked that one in.
You know, when McMahon made that third 3 for 3 here in this half, that's his 103 he's made in his career.
And this is the largest lead for the Cardinals, up to 10. So they take off the kick, the shot clock up to 20, but they have to put 5 seconds back on the game clock as well.
Dave McMahon standing up to father. He's cheering, he's yelling, still with his white shirt on behind the bench. There he's looking up, waving his arm. Dave McMahon, a proud dad. Look at the size they got against McMahon right now. Wow.
Raekwon Gray was able to get under the basket and break up the entry for Regal.
Starting to get a little danger time now for the home team. And I will say this, Leonard's kids are not getting any help at all. Got a big crowd here, but they're very quiet. They give them such help against Duke. The crowd has been basically silent here.
They've gone over 6 minutes without a field goal. Their only points have come from the line. And as a result, Louisville has opened up their largest lead, but a hustle play here by Nichols to create the turnover.
I look quiet, the crowd. You don't score for over 6 minutes from the field.
Forrest drives it, draws the foul on a gap. So Trent Forrest back to the line.
Stops the clock, gives them a chance to get some points on the board. Got plenty of time left, obviously. Of course, 4-game win streak for them. On the other side, you got a 4-game road winning streak for Louisville. I talked about it earlier. 21 points is the difference that they've won by an average of 21 points in a row in 4 games in the ACC on the road. That is really unheard of. Chris Mack just taps Ryan, basically said, go out there, shoot the rock, will you? Come make some shots for me.
He's doing that when he gets an opportunity. And 2 at the line for Forrest. 8-point game, 8:42 to go. North Carolina, with their win earlier today, surviving in overtime. They take over sole possession of the ACC lead as they beat Miami, Virginia, and Duke head-to-head for second place as Louisville throws it away. If Louisville can win this game on the road and get to 9-2, they'd only be a half game out of first place in the ACC, a team that the media at the start of the season picked to finish 11th in the league.
And how big will the game be Tuesday night when Duke comes to town to Louisville if they're 9-2?
That's some brutal stretch for the Cardinals as well. Starting last Saturday, the home loss to a top 10 North Carolina team. Then they win on Big Monday at number 11 Virginia Tech. Now they're on the road against a ranked Florida State team. Then they go home to play Duke. Man from the corner, sized it up and knocked it down.
Wide open, nobody rotated out on him. The man went out of the game. He had a bad turnover there that gave the ball to Florida State. That was big. Leonard Howard, that was a big 3. They needed that. Woke the crowd up. The crowd's waking up. They're waking up.
Sounds like you did too.
I've been awake all day.
Wara, he will go to the line, and man can't believe that he was just called for the foul, and the Florida State bench can't believe it either.
I'll tell you one thing, he's never believed that he fouled. Has a player ever believed they fouled? Ever? I have been watching 40 years. It never happens. I think Kansas State's going to win the Big 12 this year. That's my gut feeling. I really think the 14 years in a row is going to come to an end, and I think that Bruce Weber's club is going to win the Big 12. What do you think? You're Mr. Big 12. You're up there, you Freddy Fischella.
If you are not going to beat Kansas this year, when are you going to beat them? And bracketology from Joe Lunardi. Right now, he's got 8 teams projected into the field. Clemson right on the bubble if the tournament were to be selected today. As of this past weekend, he had 8 out of the 10 teams from the Big 12 in the tournament as well.
Can't see that happening when it's all said and done.
Well, they'll probably cannibalize each other. Yeah, right, as you kind of head towards the, a good example, the game that Chris just talked about, Baylor and K-State. Obviously, one of those teams going to lose that game, and that will be a big loss for the team that drops it as Raekwon Gray lowers his shoulder, and Wara is called for the block, and you can catch SportsCenter later tonight after Washington, Arizona State. John Anderson and Kenny Mayne will have all the highlights of Thunder Rockets Will the Harden 30-point streak stay alive? Plus Jay Billis's takeaways from Duke, Virginia, as well as post-fight reactions from UFC 234 in Australia. That's SportsCenter later on tonight, ESPN and the ESPN app.
NBA trades were unbelievable. I think that Philadelphia now in the East has the best starting lineup in the East with that starting lineup getting Tobias Harris.
I'm not a believer in the Sixers.
You're not a believer?
I'm not a believer.
That starting five's pretty good.
I'll take the field.
Butler. I'm talking about the East.
Right. And I would say you still have a Toronto team that if they stay healthy, very good.
Yeah.
I think the Celtics will find themselves as the season continues. And Milwaukee has got the best record in basketball, and no one talks about them.
Yeah, Milwaukee made a great acquisition as well, I think.
Giannis is probably the MVP as Gray gets a takeaway. Euro step crossover. Can't finish it.
That's about 3 layups they've had. You got to score. And that was the concern of Chris Mack. Live ball turnovers. He told Allison at halftime.
Cabangeli spins baseline and gets hammered.
He got hammered there, no question about it.
If Malik Williams is called for the foul, and he is, that's his 4th. So now Williams and Enoch both have 4.
The 2 post guys, they can rotate.
So let's see if Agau gets up off the bench again for Chris Mack.
Tell you one thing, these waivers really have been a differential in terms of the waivers and getting eligibility. When you look at Louisville getting those players from 5th-year players, well, waivers, you're talking about, that's one thing that troubles me in the NCAA. There's no consistency in the decision-making in terms of granting waivers to guys that apply as transfers. I saw where, and I'm happy for him, Justin Fields going to be eligible quarterback down at Ohio State.
Yep.
No problem. You know what we should do, though? Let's eliminate this waiver nonsense. Coaches don't have to go for a waiver when they move on. Why should a player? Let them all. They want to transfer and go somewhere else. Let them all go and be eligible. Coaches transfer. They go to jobs, and nobody asks them for a waiver. Why should a kid have to apply and ask for a waiver? Don't get me started on that.
I think we already did. Cunningham draws the foul.
You know, let's give the kids something equal out there.
Don't get you started. What else could you have to say?
I'm such a shy,
what's left?
introverted guy.
I know.
I don't say a thing.
If we could ever get you to come out of your shell, we'd really have something. As David Nichols is called for his 4th foul.
Need a little comedic relief here. I got it for you.
Sure.
I feel like Louisville's turning into Comedy Central. You know, Bill Murray's been showing up at games. His son Luke is an assistant coach on the staff. And how about the visitor they had this week to Louisville in town for a performance? Adam Sandler showing up. He hung out with the team a little bit, played a little 2-on-2 with a couple of his buddies, and Khalil Fennell, the director of basketball operations. So lots of pictures snapped. It was all over Twitter, and I can confirm, guys, though, he didn't get anybody water.
That's big time, I'll tell you. You get Adam, Bill Murray. I mean, come on now. Bill Murray, a big sports fan. Loves his Cubbies. Chris Mack, big fan out there. Used to go to all the Cincinnati Reds games.
Nichols, jump stop. Yes.
Nice move. Right down the lane again. They really attack. That is their goal. Then they get a stop. They get a little pressure. Double up on the ball.
Sutton goes to the goal. Rolls one home.
His strength made that happen. He got bumped there. He could have flown above the whistle there.
Florida State is 11-1 at the Tucker Center this season. Nichols with a shot fake. And he will go to the free throw line. The only team that beat them so far this season, Duke. And they needed a Cam Reddish buzzer-beating 3 to do it. Louisville is trying, as a road team, to get another important win in the ACC as Quan 4 is called for his 4th foul.
Free throw
Check that, his 3rd foul.
Free throw line will be big here coming down the stretch. There's no question about it. And if they're behind Florida State, if they're behind and they're going to foul late, you know that Chris Mack's going to have Ryan McMahon on the floor, and he's like automatic. And that's how they ended up beating Michigan State. At the end of the game, they had a fouled them, and scored up 24 points.
They shoot their free throws well down the stretch of games as Nichols converts at the line to make it a 5-point game, 6:04 to go. And now sloppy. Louisville turns it over.
Can't turn the ball over in those situations. It's winning time. You got to make those plays. It's simplicity. Giving that possession there. You know, Chris Mack didn't come here for the first year thinking about, well, it's got to be a rebuilding, restructuring. He came here to do what he's doing, to win, because that's the only mentality he has. He won big at Xavier, and you know, he was #1 seed last year, and they got beat by Florida State, Xavier.
Man, off the glass, hangs on the rim, and it falls to Malik Williams. Acceleration, Cunningham, old school floater won't go. Nichols comes the other way.
Leonard Hamilton, a big fan of Nichols, thinks the transfer has really helped them.
Cabangeli.
Trying to get a little one-on-one.
Back out to Nichols.
Defense did a great job to make him kick the ball out.
Offensive foul. That will foul out David Nichols. First time this season Nichols has fouled out of a game.
Here he goes to the goal. Oh, defense right there, no doubt about it. He's outside the circle, the arc.
So that brings M.J. Walker back in as Nichols is done. Normally it's Cabangeli that Leonard Hamilton has to worry about fouling out. Cabangeli has fouled out of 5 games this season. That's only the 4th game that anyone else collectively on the team has fouled out of.
Man got nailed.
And Wara goes to the rim and ends up having it knocked out of bounds.
Wow, McMahon get knocked out. They knocked him out to the deck and nobody saw it.
We saw it.
I saw it. Take a look right here. Watch this. He gets the ball up. Bam! I mean, that's a better block than any Florida State football player through this year.
A lot of contact on both of those plays and no foul call.
He's a tough kid, though. He bounces back right up. Gives away a lot of size on that floor. This guy, you want the ball in his hands. Cunningham. He finds the right people at the right time.
Backdoor cut to Wara.
He finds the right people at the right time. That was great offensive efficiency and execution. Little backdoor cut, dropped it on a dime.
In ACC play, Kristen Cunningham, 6.4 assists per game, #1 in the league in conference play.
Well,
a beautiful dime drop there. And now a timeout called by Leonard Hamilton.
Assist to turnover ratio, the best goes to Trey Jones.
Cunningham's 4th in that category, 2.8 to 1.
Oh, that's beautiful basketball.
Terrific.
That's beautiful basketball. People love that kind of basketball. That guy's just running to the three and shooting threes. Pass, cut, give a screen and rolling. Get execution, Robert. Come on, King Robert. Had a great dinner last night, didn't we?
That was good.
We had a lot of good Italian food.
That's where I'm in my comfort zone.
I know that. I didn't do too bad with the dessert stuff. I mean, I had 2 desserts. My wife was mad at me.
Not the first time.
Oh, geez, calories. Look at those calories.
That's Dick Vitale. We'll save him. I'm Bob Wischusen. Allison Williams with us here as well at the Tucker Center in Tallahassee, where, again, Florida State 11-1 this season. And if you go back to their last 44 games at home, they are 41-3. But
Amazing.
Louisville has beaten on the road this season North Carolina and Virginia Tech when both teams are ranked in the top 12. As Walker, an easy trip to the goal there.
That was so simple. Nobody even challenged him. I mean, I could have made that layup. Doubling up on the ball. Then pop somebody free, go diagonal with the pass, lead diagonal to the post area.
Wara crosses over, floats one up. It won't go. Cabangeli the rebound in a 5-point game.
Wara's a very impressive player. He's got pro talent. Pass the ball. Pass the ball. You got to get movement. There's no movement. It's too stationary.
Gray back out to Cabangeli. Williams the rebound.
Very stationary in that possession. It was almost like the Kodak man's going to take a picture. Like when you watch James Harden, he pounds the ball, and the other 4 players, they want to take selfies, take pictures. Get the Kodak man. Opening up the court here.
Cunningham turns it over and commits a foul.
Might be a pretty good foul because they were ready to go up the court for a layup.
Free throws when we come back in a 5-point game with 3.5 to go.
Chris Cotter here in studio. As you can see on the right, K-State and Baylor, top 2 teams in the Big 12 right now as they stand. Underway in Waco. Got a big dunk from the Bears. They got on the board. This game's being played on ESPN News right now. Bob and Dick, as soon as you guys wrap things up in Tallahassee, we'll move it over here to ESPN2. Also, Duke and Virginia underway on ESPN.
All right, Chris, thanks very much. And we have 3.5 minutes to go in what has been a low-scoring battle between Louisville and Florida State. Free throws and big ones coming here for Trent Forrest as he will try and make this a one-possession game.
Well, we kept saying that the free throw line is going to be big in this game. And it's been a strength of Florida State all year, converting at that line as a team. I think they're shooting like 76%.
They are number 5 in the ACC, 77% as a team.
That's pretty good shooting.
Pardon me, just a shade over 74%. Louisville is actually the best free throw shooting team in the ACC as they are a cumulative 77%.
Got to make them now. You're down crunch time. You're behind. You're at home. Now, see, they want to put the ball in Brian's hands because he's so good at the free throw line. He's missed 3 all year. He's got 17 in a row. They're going to pull up his dribble. That's a bad play right there. You get good spacing. Both these clubs are well coached. Ball was deflected.
Cunningham gets the play started with 7 to shoot. Leans in. Can't get it to go.
Tough shot. You're off balance. Really a tough shot. It's a big game for Louisville. Really big. You're staring at Duke coming in Tuesday night. That place is going to be electric whether they win or lose. But if they win and Duke comes there and they're 9-2 in conference play, that becomes a monster game in the ACC. Showing some patience here. I know Leonard constantly talks about spacing.
Man hits a 3. 1-point game.
Got pretty good spacing right there. He's a veteran player, man. You never know who's going to hurt you. This team has like 10 players they rotate. They're a deep team, and that is their strength. They're going to be a tough team come March Madness.
Shot clock at 9.
Little handoff.
Kristen Cunningham, 5 to shoot. Back outside, Malik Williams. Answers for Louisville.
That's a big answer right there by the big guy. Early last year, he was demonstrating three-point shooting ability. Not really a super strength, but capable, as you saw right there.
As loud as the crowd had been at any point today, they were just on their feet, and they sit back down as Malik Williams not only is able to hit a 3, but now Kristen Cunningham draws the offensive foul.
Bad possession right there by Florida State. Can't be happy there, Leonard. That 3 is so big, man. The three-point shot just is so big.
That foul on M.J. Walker, his 3rd. So now both teams are over the 10-foul limit. It's the double bonus the rest of the way.
He wants to get fouled. He's hoping that they come after him.
And he is fouled by Cabangeli.
He was hoping for that. Are they in a bonus yet?
Both teams are in the double bonus.
Yep. Leonard knows that that's not really what he wanted, putting him on a charity strike.
I'm not sure that they had a foul call.
Oh, they didn't call a foul there?
No, it looks now that the ball, when the ball went out of bounds,
oh, come on. Now, no
it looks
foul.
like they are now going to the monitor to see who it went off of. They're going to say that Cabangeli knocked it away clean from McMahon, so no foul called. But did it go off Cabangeli or did it go off McMahon? It went off McMahon.
It went off McMahon, no doubt about it. And right, he did not foul. The foul happened after the ball was loose. The ball was loose, and then the foul occurred. See, right there's the contact with the ball.
So this is going to belong to Florida State with 1:39 to go. it looks like that's going to put McMahon back on the bench for Louisville.
Yeah, they're rotating. What they're doing is playing defense, offense. Not pleased with himself. He knows he made a mistake there. Got to bounce back. Big possession right here for the Noles. Big possession. Minute 30 on the clock. Spreading the court. Trying to open up the lane.
Walker, floater, no good. Oh, the follow is on time for Cabangeli. And we've got a 2-point game.
Cabangeli right up on the offensive board. Great job getting on the offensive glass. Oh,
a turnover. We are
turnover.
tied.
Wow.
MJ Walker with the steal.
Great defensive pressure. The concern, yes, the concern by Chris Mack before the game. We worry about turning the ball over in live ball situations, allowing them to score.
20th turnover of the game for Louisville.
And the crowd woke up. They're standing. 11,000. Look at this. All of a sudden, they pops the ball loose. Great steal. Great conversion. And the bench loves it. Oh, they love it. They love it. They're bouncing with joy. What winning streak goes on? Was the winning streak of Florida State? 4 in a row go to 5. Was the streak of Louisville 4 in a row on the road go to 5?
Well, not if Louisville keeps turning it over, and that's a season high for the Cardinals with 20 turnovers. That latest ends up tying the game up.
And that has led to a lot of points as well. Those turnovers have led to points.
28 total Florida State points scored off the 20 Louisville turnovers.
28 points, and that was a major, major concern.
In a low-scoring game.
In a low-scoring game, you're right. 28 of their 63 points.
Now where are you going if you're Louisville?
I want to get in McMahon's hands because I want him to get fouled. I want him.
Instead, it's Sutton across the timeline, and now McMahon. Minute to go.
Protect the ball a little bit more. Cunningham's a good choice to have the ball.
10 to shoot. Cunningham, a foul called on the drive.
In the bonus. He's been a solid contributor, man, since coming from Sanford.
74% free throw shooter, the graduate transfer, trying to put Louisville back on top. He was number 10 in America in assists in the 2016-2017 season at Sanford. Had mono last year, so was granted a waiver to play off a medical red shirt. And now pressure free throws on the road for Louisville. And he's got them both. Kristen Cunningham, another terrific performance.
He's a clutch player, man. He went up there real calm and cool. Now execution really a key here for Florida State. Louisville digging in defensively. They like to go one-on-one in the lane.
Trent Forrest ties the game.
Nice play. He took them one-on-one, got in the lane, and got the conversion.
Chris Mack still has a timeout. Will he use it? He will.
See, now he substitutes offense for defense. He puts his man back on the floor with Warren.
That's the final timeout for Louisville. Florida State still has a timeout. Just under 30 seconds to go in a tie game here in Tallahassee. We'll have the closing moments for you after we check in with Chris Cotter.
Okay, y'all, check in on Duke and Virginia. Duke got off to such a hot start. This game over on ESPN. After the turnover, look out, here comes Zion. Big dunk, quiets the crowd there, John Paul Jones. Then, after Zion hits a three, and Duke has 5 threes already in this game. The block, we go the other way. Get a layup here from Barrett. It's a 19-9 lead right now for Duke over on ESPN, Bob.
Wow, what a start, Chris. Unbelievable.
This is a great game here, but I'm kind of excited for this game to end. Just because I want to go and check out a Duke-Virginia game as well and see if Duke can hold on to a double-digit lead on the road at John Paul Jones. It's a great start.
One thing right here, we may be here for a while. This may be an OT situation.
And how important is this game? Look at Louisville. Only a half game in the loss, one game in the loss column, half game overall behind Virginia and Duke, and one game behind North Carolina for the league lead.
As Chuck Walsh walks by, I tell you, Chuck and Kenny Klein, these guys work like you can't believe. As most of the guys, Steve Kirsch, I can go on and on. So many great SIDs. But here we go now with 29 seconds on the clock. You got right now a scenario where you got to be very cautious with the basketball and make sure you get a quality shot.
You'd think they'd want to play through Jordan Wara, but he is only 3 of 12 shooting. He's got 13 points, so in double figures once again for the 22nd time this season, but has not shot the ball well.
We're out of timeouts, Louisville. One for Florida State. Going to spread the court right now. Cunningham's got the ball. Going to get a hand off him. You can't put a hand on him. Hand check is not allowed.
Eight to shoot. Dwayne Sutton a long way from the basket with 5 to shoot. Gives it up to Wara for 3. Off the heel. Kofer's got it. 3 seconds to go. Kofer for the win. Just off the rim. And we are going to overtime.
I told you we're going to have a little overtime.
You did. Extra basketball.
A little extra hoops. They made him take a tough shot there. It was a good defensive possession by Florida State. That was a tough shot. Great decision.
Obviously, this was not the shot that Chris Mack wanted, as Wara had to force an NBA 3.
Well, the reason that happened because you got to give credit to the defensive alignment and the way they played defense in that possession. The Noles really responded defensively.
Now who has the advantage as we head to overtime? As again, this is a Florida State team that is 11-1 so far this season at home. The only team that they have lost to at home was a buzzer beater for Cam Reddish and Duke.
Well, usually the home club gets the advantage. You saw it today with the game with Carolina and Miami. Carolina gets an OT, they leave with the W. Usually, but that doesn't always happen. Right now you got a scenario where you're in foul trouble a little bit in the post. So you want to attack the middle a little bit if you're Florida State, which they've been doing the entire game.
Well, both of these teams have struggled to score.
Yeah.
65 all at the end of regulation. This is a Louisville team that averages 79 points per game, a Florida State team that averages 77 per game, but both have kicked it up a notch defensively today.
Well, both clubs are very solid defensively. That's one of the strengths of Florida State, and certainly been a strength when you look right now at Louisville.
Florida State is playing overtime this season for the second time.
LSU.
They beat LSU in Orlando back, and that was all the way back during Thanksgiving tournament time.
I was there. You know, I didn't do that game, but I was there. I did the semis and the finals. And LSU's a very good basketball team. Beat Auburn today. They play Kentucky coming up on Tuesday.
This is Louisville's 4th overtime game of the season. They are 1-2, and all 3 games against good teams, as they lost to Marquette earlier this year in Brooklyn. They also lost at Pittsburgh, but they beat Michigan State at home in OT. McMahon gives it up, and Wara loses it out of bounds in the corner.
He's not having a strong afternoon, a kind of game that he's had in terms of this year. He's had so many quality games.
21 Louisville turnovers.
That's amazing. 21 turnovers in a game of this score, and you're still right there with a chance to win.
Terrence Mann draws the foul.
Trying to get a little isolations, one-on-ones, go to the goal, score.
Dwayne Sutton called for his 3rd.
Comes down to that cherry stripe. So many games do. Special situations.
Terrence Mann up to 16 points. Cabangeli's got 18. Those are the leading scorers for Florida State. And for Mann, double figures for the 12th time in 23 games this season, but 5 of the last 6. So he has been a hot scorer of late for Leonard Hamilton, and he gives the Noles the lead.
And he does a great job where he went to that line, a lot of confidence.
Bob Wischusen, Dick Vitale, Allison Williams, overtime here in Tallahassee. Dwayne Sutton for 3. The long rebound to Cabangeli.
They got to find a way to get McMahon some shots. He's taking 3 shots with 3 scores. And he just got to, that's his part too, getting free for your shot. You can be great shooters, but you got to learn to get free to create space for your shot. He's really got to be a better defensive player than
Cabangeli, spin cycle. And he will go to the free throw line.
That was a heck of a move right there by Cabangeli. That was a terrific spin move in the lane, using that body of his little spin cycle time. Take a look right here. There's the fake. Now he's going to put it to the left hand, drop step. There's the drop step, explosion. Now he's going to convert.
And that fouls out Enoch. So that foul trouble we talked about, Dick, as we've moved through this game with the 2 guys in the pivot, Enoch and Williams. You knew there was a good chance, especially if we went to overtime, that at some point it was going to come back and burn Louisville. And Enoch is now done, so Williams will go back in, but he's got 4. If this game were to go to double overtime, there might be some walk-ons on the floor.
Well, you know, you got to think as a player. You put yourself in a hole right there. They need you. They're counting on you, and you get a foul, a technical, which counts as a personal, and put him in trouble for Enoch. He'll learn from it, though. He'll learn. There's Cabangeli, 4 for 4 on the free throw strike. Came into this game. He had made 5 threes in a row when you went for the previous game where he went 4 for 4 against Syracuse. I'm telling you, it is really important when you got guys that can make free throws. There it is. I mean, that is big. That's a big part of the game, a luxury. That's an area Duke's got to really worried about. Both their 2 star players are in the 60s shooting threes. Free throws. Zion and certainly Barrett. You get down to 1-point games, that becomes major.
Cunningham finally gives it up with 11 to shoot. Williams off the mark for 3. A fight for it along the sideline and a foul call.
Tell you one thing, Louisville not getting the shots they want in their offensive possessions.
Jerry Heater has a foul called on Jordan Wara. So it'll be free throws again at the other end
Chris Mack
for Florida State. That's the 3rd on Wara.
Chris Mack not happy with that call. He's struggling right. He's frustrated. You look at Wara, you can see the frustration of Jordan. I mean, I don't know about a foul. 2 guys going after the ball. What do you see there, Bob? I mean, come on now. 2 guys fighting for the ball.
I agree. That should have been a held ball, and the possession arrow giving it to Florida State. But to give Wara a foul, and now Mann free throws, that's a tough call.
Giving them points. I mean, right there, you're giving them points on their line when they're making their free throws.
And makes them both.
They've really done an excellent job, Leonard's club, on that charity strike. Up 6 because of the charity strike.
Florida State has doubled up Louisville in terms of points at the line. Losing his footing and turning it over, Darius Perry.
One bad possession after another. Really struggling.
22 turnovers.
They need a stop here. Oh, do they need a stop? This will be big dagger time if they score here.
5 to shoot. Mann backing down Cunningham. Gives it up. It rolls off the rim, but the tip follow there for Trent Forrest.
What a tip. What a tremendous tip that was. And they jump with joy, the Noles fans. They smell a W, man. They smell their 5th in a row. They're up 8 now.
8-0 Florida State in overtime.
They need a 3.
Perry to the corner, wide open. Sutton, there's a big shot from Louisville as Dwayne Sutton hits the 3. And Louisville will spend their one timeout. They got back to start overtime.
Sutton did a great job with that 3. They're looking to pass inside. That rolls, it rolls around, and there's the tip right on it by Forrest. Great job. Right now, trying to get him one-on-one in the lane. He throws the ball. Nice little handoff. Got the layup. It rolls and rolls and rolls, but he comes back. He doesn't quit on it. The young kids don't give up on the play. Stay with the play.
We'll step aside for just a moment. 2:19 to go in overtime. We're coming right back. 2:19 to go in overtime. Florida State leads Louisville 73-68. Bob Wischusen alongside Dick Vitale, Allison Williams with us as well. And this is what remains for Florida State. They still have very difficult road games coming up against North Carolina and Virginia Tech. Home on Wednesday for Wake Forest.
I tell you, Virginia Tech, without Robinson, they're a different basketball team. They got a chance to go for a little bit of run there. They really do. They win this 5 in a row. The next 3, they got a great chance there to win. I think in Carolina, where, you know, go either way.
Florida State has scored on all 4 of their overtime possessions. And that last basket a moment ago, the 3 by Dwayne Sutton, the first points of overtime for Louisville. Allison?
Bob, maybe we shouldn't really be surprised that these two teams have gone to overtime. If you look at them, they're so similar. The points they average per game, 77 and 78. They shoot about 45% as a team, statistically similar. But just in the composition of the teams, they're veteran teams. They get a ton of contributions off the bench. They have length and athleticism. Coach Hamilton even warned his team about that a little bit in preparation for this game. He said they are just like us. They are athletic. They run. They can play fast when they need to. You can see the way this has played out, how evenly matched they really are.
Tell you what, though, the charity stripe's been a 2-to-1 edge on that free throw line. And that's been big, 22 points to 11.
And the one area statistically in this game that has gone completely sideways, turnovers. Florida State is last or second from the bottom in the ACC in turnovers per game. They average about 15 turnovers per game. They've only turned it over 8 times. Louisville, on the other hand, is middle of the pack in the ACC. They've turned it over 22 times.
They don't pressure, though, Louisville, so they're not going to force a lot of turnovers in their past clubs. They play more of a pack line defense. That's their system, utilizing the kind of personnel that Chris Mack has, and it's been effective all year.
2 minutes to go in overtime.
Trying to manage the clock a little here. Take some time off it. But still looking for a quality shot.
5 to shoot. Trent Forrest pulls up. That won't go. Cavangeli, an offensive rebound.
That'll go. That'll go. Beat Louisville on the offensive boards. Cavangeli with a monster play. He doesn't have to give us the little flex. Just play. Just play. That's
4th time this season he's got over 20 points.
He's a big-time prospect, big-time player, getting better and better and better.
Malik Williams, desperately needed 3 for Louisville, and he knocks it down, and it's a 4-point game. And a timeout called by Florida State.
Nothing like that 3 ball to give you some hope, give you that chance mentally.
So no timeouts left for Louisville, 1 remaining for Leonard Hamilton. So it's the 2 big guys, Cavangeli at one end and Malik Williams at the other, making big plays.
Yeah, there's Malik Williams stepping out, shoulders range as a shooter, but Cavangeli's offensive rebound. I mean, that's big time. That's not just in his lane. He went across laterally to get that. Just a terrific.
Again, rebound. Let's go back to Chris Cotter.
All right, thank you, Bob. Duke continues their onslaught from beyond the arc. 7 of 8. In terms of 3-point shots, Virginia's giving them the shots, and players like R.J. Barrett knocking them down. 12-point lead for the Dukies, meanwhile, in the first half. Bandu here for Baylor. Did he walk? No, they didn't call it, so it counts as a bucket. Baylor up 21-16. This game on ESPN News right now, Bob.
All right, Chris, thanks very much. And with 1:20 to go in overtime, we'll see if we can get you to that Baylor game against Kansas State. That's an important game at the top of the Big 12 standings and a very important game at the top of the ACC standings as Kofor gets it into Cabangeli. Almost a turnover for Florida State.
Nice look by Cabangeli. He's really playing hard. Now you can see that perspiration. Unbelievable effort. He's a kid that doesn't start because they don't want to get in foul trouble right away. As you said earlier, he's fouled out of, 5 games already this year.
1 minute to go in overtime.
Now foul out here. We'll screen and release.
Man maneuvers to Forrest in the corner. 3 to shoot. Spin move. No. Forrest. Another tip. That won't go. And ripping the rebound away is Malik Williams, and Forrest fouls him. So Malik Williams will shoot free throws at the other end.
Yeah, you don't want to foul there. That's something Lenny's got to talk to him about. Why foul and stop the clock? You got the lead, and here it is. And then you're going to allow them to go to a little pressure if they convert.
Williams' first trip to the line in today's game, 66% this season.
Played well with those 4 fouls. So 2 big threes. Fans greeting him, a little waving of, oh.
One of 2 for Williams. 1 possession game. 48 seconds to go. Full court pressure. Kofor gets it into Cabangeli. He's double teamed.
The way he went to get the ball.
Kofor tied up, held ball. Florida State's got the arrow.
See, there's the defense. He gets penalized. You get penalized on their alternate possession. There you get penalized. They make the defensive play, right? And the ball goes the other way.
Although if they jumped it up between Kofor and Cunningham, I think Kofor's got a slight advantage.
You got a slight advantage, but you can steal it. You can steal it, anticipate.
Well, now Louisville has the arrow if they get another held ball.
1 timeout for Florida State, 0 for Louisville. You don't want to float the ball.
Kofor throws the home run for Mann. Tough catch, and he's fouled by Williams. And that will foul out Malik Williams.
That was a tough play. Hey, Florida State's looking for a quarterback. Maybe they'll sign him up. They need a QB here. They need a QB.
So for the first time this season, Malik Williams fouls out. Stephen Enoch already on the bench. He has fouled out for the first time this season. And here's the home run ball by Kofor. Right on the mark for Mann.
That was a tough pass to make and a tough catch to make. But look at he got away with that. That was a dangerous, dangerous play with a 1-possession lead. And now they go to the charity stripe, and they've been really effective there.
It'll be the 31st and 32nd free throws of the day for Florida State. They've made 22.
So what? Every win in this conference is so big, and everyone's a tough battle. You could say the same about the SEC, the Big Ten.
Ryan McMahon back in the game to replace the fouled out Malik Williams. So it's a very small lineup on the floor for Louisville, but a bunch of guys that can shoot.
Yeah, going small, going for some offensive shooters. Boy, they've been good at that charity stripe, especially late in this game. Florida State, that's been a big positive and a big plus for them. Trying to win their 5th game in a row in the ACC. And this will be only the 2nd time, right? Or the first time, rather, since 2011 season to win 5 in a row in conference play, ACC.
Only the 2nd miss of the day for Mann at the line. 4-point game, 40 seconds to go. Cunningham will drive it. Tough shot, plus the foul. What a finish by Kristen Cunningham.
Incredible play. He used his left hand exceptionally well there. Going to his right, came back to the left hand. Shows he's ambidextrous there. He's making that play. Watch this drive now. So he switches to the left hand, protects the ball. If he goes to the right hand, the ball is blocked. So he protects the ball, seals the defense off, and converts.
MJ Walker's fourth.
Going for old-fashioned three. We may have another OT.
20 points for Cunningham.
Transfer, fifth-year player, got his degree already, his full-court pressure.
Now at some point, they're going to have to foul if Florida State gets it in the front court. They're going to go for the backcourt steal, and they've got Mann tied up.
He's tied up.
Gets it across the timeline to Forrest. Now Mann's got it back. At some point, Louisville has to foul. There's only a 2-second differential, and now the foul is finally given on Forrest as Darius Perry keeps the game alive.
Perry came in with a big reputation, hasn't been able to certainly play to the level that they thought, but he's a young kid yet, still trying to find himself. It's amazing. You talk about the game, you can talk about cuts, screens, switches, and it all comes standing on a charity stripe. Standing on a charity stripe. Old-fashioned, make the free throw, and you got a chance to win.
Now there's 18 seconds to go.
Yeah.
If Forrest makes this free throw, are you fouling if you're Florida State, and at what point? I mean, there's still plenty of time for Louisville to try a 2 and extend the game. How would you approach this?
I approach it as you and I were talking. My philosophy is 10 seconds and under, you foul. Before 10, unless it's there, you take the three, but I would not deliberately foul.
No timeouts left for Louisville, so here we go. 15 seconds to go. Will Florida State foul?
Look for McMahon right now. Look for McMahon. Get the three ball. Get it to him.
McMahon, he'll try a three. Off the heel.
Oh, it's right there.
And the rebound pulled down by MJ Walker, and he is fouled.
It was right on the money. He had a good look. He got it off quick. Watch this. As McMahon, they got it to the guy they wanted. You got to jab a little bit. The defense, you got to give the defense a little credit there. They challenged him. It wasn't a wide open look. Look at that defense challenging him.
It was a good job by Trent Forrest to challenge and make sure he got to the side of McMahon and didn't foul him.
Right, exactly. Because it looked like he was going to run into him. 4 seconds, a lot could happen if you can miss these.
That's a big free throw for Walker.
My friend, you got to scoop if they're to lose this game. You got to scoop. There's no way in the world. No way, just get away. Look Kevin Jones, he's coaching. He said, get out of the way, guys. He makes the foul. Like getting out of the way. Just don't foul.
Florida State is going to stay a one-loss team at home with 4 seconds to go. Cabangeli breaks up the home run pass, and the Noles come from 10 points down in the second half to force overtime, and they beat Louisville 80-75.
Wow.